Red helped engineer, right?
Yep, I mixed and mastered.
I think
Red recorded Shiesty verse. My boy Darth Moon, he won a Dirk engineer. He recorded the Dirk verse.
that's
The whole shit out. Like that whole song was done in 24 hours.
That's nuts. YC was saying that at the studio he was cooking up. He had his headphones in, and Shiesty still heard the beat through his headphones.
Yes.
Like, that up.
It's like fate. Like that's why I had to tell them like this. Like you gotta know what fate is. Like some shit is going to happen no matter if you walk down whatever door you think you're gonna walk out of, you're gonna come out to where this shit's supposed to happen. Like that song happened perfectly. It happened perfectly.
Yeah, that's insane.
Perfect timing and good vibes. You know, you can get a lot done. Perfect timing and good vibes.
And just taking advantage of the next one, like once you start getting some momentum too. Like, I think that's when it's time to really start running once you got a little bit of momentum stuff going on, because opportunities seem to line up for you kind of after that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, Shiesty started off this like a Marvel movie. Like Shiesty started this whole Marvel movie off.
It's definitely a movie, but no, like I said, we appreciate it big time. The producer room, powered by producer culture. Today, we got my guy here. I'm just excited to chop it up outside of, all the gems we'll be kicking to all the upcoming guys. But, the one and only, the GOAT, Skywalker OG, my guy, what's going on?
What up, Carl? We thugging. We in here.
Yeah, we definitely
open book, whatever you want to know.
What they say, be careful what you wish for. But so I think probably the best place to start is, now obviously we were just speaking on before we got going the Back in Blood record, which you were a big part of that, part of countless gold, platinum, chart topping songs, urban radio number ones, this and that. But of course it all kind of starts from somewhere. For you, how did like music enter your life way back, and then how did that kind of become mixing, mastering, engineering, making beats, etc.?
Well, it really started off before everything. I was always into music. Like it was always intriguing to me. It was all like, even as a baby, like I used to just bob my head to song. I didn't even know it. But when I got in like elementary school, it became more like applicable because when you, I don't know if it's just some shit in the South, but when you were in elementary school in the South, the first thing they give you was a flute recorder in a little plastic bag. Everybody got to play the flute till you figure out what other instrument you want to play. So I got sick of the flute like the first week. I don't like holding this. I don't like none of this. And so I was like, well, we got an orchestra, we got a drum line, and we got a band. I don't think I want to do the band. So the orchestra seemed the most feasible at the time. So I started playing cello in 5th grade, not even knowing what that was building up to. But that was my first like learning phase of music, like learning shit from music.
No, I definitely I had the little recorder too. I remember they're trying to get us to play Hot Cross Buns.
Come on now, Hot Cross Buns, man.
I was like, we can't play some Biggie or something. We gotta stick with this song.
3 notes.
See, like, you haven't even mastered this yet. You gotta think. Talk about the scales and shit, but yeah. So you kind of graduate from that and just start playing different instruments just throughout school and everything.
Yeah. When I got to middle school,
yeah,
I went to the next level in middle school. That's where like you got to see like the real band. Like the elementary school band was like they just stayed in the class. It wasn't nothing. Like middle school, there were programs and the bands is here doing parades, all this shit. So I got exposed to actual performance, and that's when I picked up the saxophone for the first time. And at the same time, my brother, he had been playing drums since whenever I like 3rd, 4th grade. He was a year older than me, so he was in 5th grade playing drums. So when he got to middle school, he was a year older than me. So when I got there, I just transitioned in and picked up the saxophone, learned it, I mastered that in like a year and a half, the alto sax. Then I went to the soprano sax, like the jazz one. Then I moved to the baritone, that big boy. Just trying to, broaden the horizon, really. Like I said, I didn't know where anything was gonna lead. I just was, using my time wisely.
Yeah, but just kind of kept building up to it. So that's kind of like the initial middle school years when you started getting not serious, but more serious about it. And then it sounds like it gets pretty serious from there, going out, doing performances and things like that. At what point does that kind of translate into like you making music yourself, whether that's, making beats or whatever? And how do you feel that like having that musical background kind of like helped you out, or did it not really matter for when you were making beats, or like how did it kind of go from there?
When I first started making beats, that was like ninth grade, maybe. It might have been eighth grade. It might have been in the middle, but it started once again in the band room. Like it all led into this. The studio. I mean, we had a computer in the front of the band room and in the back of the band room. So on the front of the band room, all we did was like print off songs to play all this stuff, just normal stuff. In the back, that was a thugging computer. So they had little fighter games and all kind of shit on there. And one day I went on there and my partner Fred was making a beat on Fruity Loops 3. I'll never forget this. Man, had Fruity Loops 3. He had the demo, and then he had like some little thing he clicked on and reset the demo. So we had like a free version of Fruity Loops, but we had to make all the beats right then and bounce them. Like whatever beat you made, you had to bounce that bitch right then, and it was over. So that was my first introduction into doing it, like watching him craft it. And then I was like, let me try, because I always been good at computers. I was like, let me try my hand. And I ended up liking it. And I started, I had a desktop at that time. And then at like the end of my ninth grade year, I started DJing. So I went and got a laptop. First thing I put on my laptop was virtual DJ. The second thing I put on there was Fruit Loops. Paid like $30. And that was my first like lock in. Like I could put on my headphones, save stuff, come back to it. And the hardest thing, like we wasn't no loop man, none of that shit back then. I was like, where do you start? I still don't know. Like, where do you start on a beat? Like who the first beat guy ever made? Who did you start with? A kick, the piano? Like it's always, and that was my biggest thing, because I knew so much about music, just didn't know where to apply it. Like I didn't know how to apply it. I was just good at the composition part. Like the beat gonna sound good, but y'all really don't know. I don't even know where it came from. But I just got better at that over the years. And like you said, the background of music, it helped, because I know if I hit this note and I hit this note and it don't sound right, it's not in that key. So okay, let's find another note that we can go to. So it was shit like that gave me a little edge on people.
Yeah, definitely adds that I didn't have, because I was trying to make 2015 beats on cracked out Logic and I didn't know where to start. I was about to throw my laptop out the window. I could not figure it out for nothing. But yeah, I'm sure that definitely would have been helpful. But it's crazy. It all kind of starts from just some like bullshitting in school. That's how basically everything seems to start.
No, for sure. I think every story starts like, I won't say on accident, but it might seem like an accident. Like you just walked in here. Like I just walked in one day and saw it, and it piqued me. Like, damn, he not playing the fighting game we be in here playing. What you doing? He's in there like cranking some shit out, and it struck something up inside me.
So when does, because at this point in time, Skywalker OG is like a key player to every single song, whether you're doing this part over here, mixing or mastering or engineering, recording, making the beat, whatever. At what point does it go from like you just kind of like testing it out and like kind of getting the hang of it to like actual songs being made? And who is like those like initial songs?
Well, I was the guinea pig for that, because that was my way of figuring out how to do this shit. Like I was good at cracking programs and all this stuff. So I was going to see, like, I never forgot, I had Mixcraft and I had Studio One when that first came out. I had both of them juggling back and forth trying to figure out how to record. So I was recording myself, just bullshitting, really. Like I didn't know what structure was. I didn't know what a hook and a chorus, how they went. I just used to put whatever I could. It was spaces all over the place, everything. Then I'll go to school and then go to my partner's houses and let them hear it, and they'll be like, oh, well, I think I want to rap now too. So that turned into me, like that turned into my job, because it's like everybody, they hear my song, but it was like, shit, I'd rather listen to me if I had a song, so let me do a song. So that was my first professional version of that. Like I used to pick my mattress up. That was the booth. I used to pick my mattress up, and like when I stood it up, it was like perfectly against the wall and it wouldn't come down. So I made the booth and they just stood on the other side and recorded. And that's how we got that going. And that shit was like all through high school. I was DJing, halfway rapping, but really like trying to produce and engineer. I didn't know what was going to do it. I just was trying to get good at everything at the same time.
When does damn, that's crazy. You really just had the mattress picked up, like just didn't have the booth, so you made the booth.
Made the booth. Used to put a hang sock on top of the mic. Like, put the sock on top of the mic, stretch it all the way down so it's stretched out so the voice can come through, and that's the pop filter. Y'all ready? We recording. Like,
when does that pick up pretty quick? Are you making money off of it at that time? Does that pick up pretty quickly where everyone wants to come to you to just
I would charge like $20. You can stay over here as long as you want to. So it was, but like I said, I didn't know the worth of any of that at the time. It was a hobby that I knew, but like I said, being from Memphis is a musical, like there's music in the air literally. So everybody does some type of music. But I didn't have that in my family. Like my family didn't have any musical background, nothing like that. The closest thing I had, my granddaddy used to sync films with the audio for MGM Grand. That's the closest thing to any kind of sound industry or any kind of recording, anything that I had been exposed to. So I didn't know that was in the same category. But back then, like you young, trying some shit, hoping you make $100 this week, charging everybody $10, $20, you hope you come out with 100. It was just like a good hustle. Just like the DJing. I didn't know how much a DJ was supposed to charge. I just used to be like, whatever you got, Because I was 15, 16. I'm doing Sweet 16s. I'm 16 years old DJing for the Sweet 16. I don't know what to tell you I'm charging. I don't know. Like, but people used to take care of me. A lot of people used to take care of me because they value what I brought. Because like I've always considered myself like a vibe controller. I can control the vibe. So if y'all in here, y'all looking like it's too turned down, I bet we finna go twerk songs 10 minutes straight. We finna go crunk songs. Like you just gotta, how to read people. Some people had it innate. Some people have to learn it. But I had that inside me, like always. I've always known how to read people, how to read body language, all that.
Super important skill. Super, super important skill just to be able to read the vibe in the room, kind of like understand what someone's thinking, pay attention to when you say this and someone gets excited about it versus when you're saying this and people don't really seem to care.
Everybody really catching it. Yeah.
Yeah. When does it kind of like, is it like one specific artist and a song and a song starts to pick up in the city, or is it DJing when you start to notice, like, when does it kind of start to click for you where you're like, damn, I might be onto something here. Like, this isn't just happening.
It took a little while. Like I went from doing all that in high school to going to do I went to MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University, and my first year there, I went to be an English major, but then when I got to the school, they told me they had mass communication. Inside the mass communication program was a recording engineer program. So I signed up for this program and had a double major, English and recording at the same time. And at that point, this is when I started first seeing people that mattered to like the world of engineering, because they would like bring different people in and talk to us, and they were like, okay, he did this, and you looked so like, damn, this motherfucker. Like, it wasn't like now. Like now, it's so much. Like it's 50-some diamond songs now. Back then, it's probably 3. So it's like when you say, oh yeah, he sold 22 million records. Like, okay, go. So that's when I got to really figuring out. But coming home from college, every time I came home from college and was applying the new shit I knew to the beats and everything, it was like Memphis needed me a little bit more than like it was like necessary. Like it was accepted. It was a little more accepted at home. At MTSU was people from all over the place, but Memphis is like this music is going on here. But after my first year, I went back for the second year, and this is some crazy shit. Like I wasn't even a sophomore. I'm a second year freshman. No, I was a sophomore. First semester sophomore. They were calling me to get on panels about music at the school that I go to. It sounds like, oh yeah, that'd be an honor. I'm thinking, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? But they just knew how much I was applying what I knew. And they was trying to like get me to unlock that in my peers. Like, I don't know what unlocked this shit in me. How I'm gonna help them. And that's what that drove me to drop out of school, because those types of thoughts, it's just like I start feeling like a teacher's pet type of shit. Like, this not helping me. This helping y'all. Like, y'all want me to come speak on this panel and bring the hip part to it and play a beat and let the speakers rock and all that shit. But I'm not getting anything from this. So I ended up dropping out of school. Came back to Memphis. I interned at 2 studios. One of them asked me to stop interning after 2 weeks and become a real engineer. And that's where Skywalker OG started it, right there, Universal. And it got a lot to do with the I guess the oversaturation helps, because you like, it's job security. Somebody always gonna want a beat. Somebody gonna always need to record a song, because we don't come up with the hits. We don't know what the hits are. The people pick hits. Like, you can rap all day, you're not gonna pick the hit. So that's what we were just chasing. It was just hit chasing, really.
So do you think that did the stuff you were learning in school really help you, or was it just kind of like a slotted time where you got to practice more and it kind of would have happened either way?
That's exactly what it was. Like, they had a studio. That was my afternoon class. I was going to the studio afternoon, Tuesday, Thursday, and Monday. Tuesday, Thursday, every other Monday. I had a studio on my shit. So it's really like I had free, like, paid for studio time, scholarship studio time. But what I was actually learning didn't come from people. It came from me being able to have access to this shit all day. Like, that's how I learned hardware. I never would learn what hardware was if that shit wasn't right there. And it was too loud because the rock band was in here recording, so I got to turn it down and tweak the compressors and shit. I didn't know what none of that was. I didn't learn that from them.
So you get back to Memphis after you call it quit school-wise, because you're turning up to school more than they're even helping you. You start interning them for 2 studios. One of them, after 2 weeks, which is a crazy time to go from intern to employee, offers you the full-time engineer job. At that point, is it exciting, or is it a job? Is there artists coming through that you're excited about? Did anybody like kind of make it to this point that used to be coming through back then?
A lot of people, like Black Youngster was the first person who's like relevant now that I ever recorded. Mm-hmm. And he made me do a feature on his first mixtape, his second mixtape or something. He made me get on the hook. Like, you got to get on the hook under me. Like, this is the first person I've ever like that I can say it, you'll know him. That was the first person. I ran across Young Dolph back in them days. Kinfolk Thugs, they had a couple records down rotating back around that time. Gorilla Zoe, Gorilla Zoe like the hottest nigga in the country at that time, man. So when he came through, like, it was just like, they're just like a shiesty walking the room right now. They be like, oh, okay, he in here now. Like, Gorilla Zoe pulling up back then, it was like, yes, sir. That's when like his real hits was out, like Hood Nigga and all that. Like, he was that nigga. So but I'm still a baby going through all this. So I'm just trying to take the whole experience in, because rappers are, that's the only way you learn. Dealing with different rappers, that's the only way you'll learn, because it's no regular way to do this shit. Like, every artist has a different personality. You don't know what this man went through in the car before he just walked in here. You don't know if this man like stomach hurting. Like, you don't know what you're gonna have to deal with who's in that booth. So you just got to make sure in your mind and like what's in front of you is under control. And that's one the first things I had to understand, that like every day, every song, every session is gonna be different. You'll never have a session like, it's not gonna be a session today and this man walks in here and does a song 15 minutes, always done one take out of here, pay your money, go on, come back the next day, do the same thing. Something's gonna change. And once you accept it, it's easier to like deal with those changes and call audibles, you know what I'm saying? Help out if you need to.
That's definitely true. Even with just, I would say that's kind of universal across like music in general. Like I'll have a problem yesterday and then I'll have the same problem Friday, but the solution is sort of different. And the only way that you'll really like, you never know what's going to happen, what time. And it's just, you got to just do it the first time and get through it to be able to kind of like have the wherewithal to be able to even do it and like solve it the next time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you're at this now. This is your new everyday life. You're going to this new studio in Memphis where, you know, different artists is, like you said, Youngsta among others. Salute to Black Youngsta, my guy. You know, coming through. How long does kind of like this last for? Do you ride this for a while and it's a whole bunch of different artists, or do you kind of start kind of like branching off from there?
I branched off after probably like less than a year. It was only a couple different artists that I was just locked in with because how the studio schedules was, I hated taking over all day. Like I used to do that a lot. Like I have 4 sessions. It's like 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. It's the whole day. Nobody else can record. So I started wanting to like be more available to, you know what I'm saying, do whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna tell you what I did. I raised my price, and then I saw who locked in with me then, and that's who I got to, you know what I'm saying, giving it to. But after that, it turned into one of the artists I was working with, OG BIG30. He got signed to Gucci Mane at the time when Gucci was signing, going crazy signing people. He had like 7 artists and was still putting out tapes. So that turned into, now we're second home in Atlanta. Now, like I'm on the phone with Gucci, like I'm on the phone with Scooter. We're doing, like, I recorded so much shit. Like I'm still hearing songs that come out. It might be on some shit that just got put into a mixtape. I was like, damn, I remember recording it. Yeah. And that's what opened my eyes to the real respect of engineer. Because I always thought like anybody can record a song. You just pushing this button to record, and you push this button to stop. It takes a lot more than that. And that's why essentially engineers are producers, because even if you have a 2-track, it might be something that the engineer does to drive the song up another level just off the 2-track. He might snatch the beat out, put it back in. He just changed something that wasn't in there. That's producing. And I started embracing them more. Because especially like with trap artists, they'll rap on the same beat 10 times and do 10 different songs. They won't even care. But if you put it, plant a little seed of change, a little seed of something different, then they might, oh, okay. Because you can't be stupid. If you're rapping, you can't be stupid. Coming over rhyme, there's nobody dumb. Like, I don't care who y'all think, nobody dumb coming over rhyme. It's hard to do. That's why they make so much money.
Yeah. No, it's definitely hard to do. Everyone's trying to act like this or that or whatever, but say you throw the instrumental on, there's only a few people that could really do it and make it sound good.
Yeah, half of the people in the room gonna need a data. I'm gonna let you hear what I come up with. Hold on.
That's crazy.
But I recorded the Trap God 2 mixtape with Gucci. I recorded 1017 Thug, Young Thug first mixtape with Gucci. I recorded Street Lottery 3 with Young Scooter. Like I was locked in. I did Trap Back 2 with Gucci. It's so much shit. I'm talking about like a lot of people's favorite songs I made. Like a lot of people like what's the name of this song? Gucci talked about me on the song. It's called Terrific. You can look it up on YouTube, whatever. Man said, like Skywalker, I'm a slick talker. Because we had like a conversation about my payment. He was trying to like not remember a couple of days. I was like, no, I was here this day. And I was here this day. So I couldn't have been gone or nothing. Like we got it understood. But the next song he did, like that's the next thing he said about it. So like I got to see like I said, the respect. Once you respect the person, you can work and be cool. Like if I don't respect you, I can't be your friend when we get to working because I can't respect you up before all this. You get what I'm saying? And engineers have lack respect for years. I've seen engineers get slapped, choked, drink stone on them, all kind of shit for trying to do their job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But back in them days, it was a lot of rappers that I got to see. Like when the Migos first made Gucci, I was in the room. Like when RP Double D, OG Double D, he had signed to Gucci. I was right there in the room. Like this is a real Atlanta like legend, like urban legend. I was there for a lot of moments, you know what I'm saying, that crafted a lot of shit going on in Atlanta because there's a lot of different ways at the time. You had like duct tape over here, you had 1017 over here, Waka had the Brick Squad Monopoly shit over there. You got 2 Chainz on the south side. It's so much shit. Future, it's shit everywhere. And it's all just swirling around. So I had to, you know, that's like a automatic networking. Like if you know how to network, you won't lose. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta have that because you know it's so easy to get starstruck and not know, you know what I'm saying, what you finna deal with when you talking to somebody. Like you might walk up, Future, I got some beats for you. You don't know how to say it, but you don't know that's all you gotta say. I got some beats for you. You are not a threat. You are an asset. He needs something you got.
Yeah.
But your mind will stop you from doing that. Your mind had you walk right by like, oh, bro. Like you played yourself out your, you know what I'm saying? Played yourself out your future.
Worst case, they say no, and then you're in the same position you're already in when you don't do it anyway.
Oh, now what they gonna beat your ass because you want to give them some beats, G? It's not like it's, you know.
Yeah.
But I had to learn it because I saw so many people fold up. I saw so many people turn to fans. You know what I'm saying? When they could have been business partners, you turn to a fan.
Yeah, more important, more focused on taking pictures or trying to sneak your little video to post on your story than
exactly. You trying to make it. Yeah, you trying to make the moment mean something. Oh, you could have make this shit mean something way past today.
Exactly.
Just a lot of people stop themselves from excelling. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing.
Then, like right after this, what you were saying?
I was just saying, and that's the thing. That's the thing about it too. Like, if you really just do your job and do what you're supposed to do, which is hopefully you're there for a reason to provide value, to be an asset, like you said, it'll get to a point where you guys really working and, you know, the artist is realizing how much they benefit from you being around and this and that. So you'll get to a point where you could take all the pictures and videos you want. You're chilling, like you're part of the team, but
you might want to picture with you. You never know.
Yeah. Focus on other things. You touched on a point that I think is super important. You talked about, you know, when you first got to the one studio, when you were doing this, when you broke off, when you were doing that, you know, you had your price, you raised your price. You didn't know what to charge for DJing parties before. You didn't know what to charge for a beat. You didn't know what to charge for an hour of recording or whatever. You end up raising your price. You end up making sure Gucci knew that this is what this is. You're owed this, that, and the third. Like, speak to that a little bit, just like knowing your worth and how that kind of like helped your career evolve.
Yeah. So you can know your worth and not apply it, and it's like resetting the knowing. You get what I'm saying? Like if you know exactly, like you might Google it. You can Google it, like how much do Drake engineers charge? You look up, like, okay, that's how much they make. All right, so I know I'm not on that level, so I know I could probably meet them right back here. If you don't have that in your mind, because that's where a lot of shit starts and stops it in your mind. You gotta make sure you are invaluable asset. Once you get locked in with an artist, you are an invaluable asset as a producer or engineer. You are an invaluable asset because you know for sure they like what you got, and that's half the battle. You know what I'm saying? That's half the battle. But when you know your worth, that means you know they like what you got, and they can afford to give you what will make you comfortable. So it's not work. So it's worth your time. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of my life wasted not thinking like that. Like I knew my worth on the inside only for so long and for no reason really. Like I was smart enough to open my mouth and but half the time when I did it, it was too late. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you like with your girlfriend or something, she might not say nothing when you do this one thing the first time, but about the third, fourth time, she gonna speak up and she gonna say it with such passion, you're not gonna even know it went on 3-4 times. You thinking right now I got her this mad. It's the same way. You got like, you get the, man, I do all this and man, I said slave so many times, because this is what this shit feel like until you really get like what you know you worth. It feel like slave work. It feel like you just working and go to sleep. There's nothing else going on in between. You don't even know if you ate some days because shit just so shuffled and, you know what I'm saying, rumbled up in your head. And it took a long time to get, like I said, get out of that mindset, but you got to apply your work, because one thing I learned, and I learned this from the trap, I learned this from the streets, from hood niggas. If you don't want this bag of weed that I'm charging $50 for, walk back out this door, because somebody that's about to walk in does want to pay that. And I'll wait on them. Or I'll just have some weed. At least I won't have no weed and no money. So you gotta apply that to yourself, especially if you like a producer. You the trap. You the dope. You gotta know if you won't buy this, somebody else will buy it. And maybe when they buy it, you'll come back and I'll be charging more for it then. Hey, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
That's all a part of applying. You got to apply your work, because shit. I know people, first placement, after your first placement, you could charge whatever you want to after that, but you could have charged before that. You could have like, you could charge $5,000-$10,000 a beat, as long as you have the demand and the quality that, you know what I'm saying, this evenly respectfully for it. Go right ahead. You're gonna find somebody to pay it, or you're gonna figure out maybe that's not what I'm worth. All right, let me go down some. All right, then now you figure, you know what I'm saying, but why not try?
Why not try? And I mean, this music included, not music, whatever. One of the very basic business rules, if you're not solidified, if you're not okay with walking away from the table, you have no negotiating power, because at that point, you're so reliant on this deal being made. And that goes to you're an engineer, you're a producer, you're this, you're that, whatever. Like, if you're just only 100% desperate on this beat getting placed here, or this artist letting me record this session or whatever, and there's nothing else, like, you have nothing. You're just gonna be stuck in that way, like you had just said.
Like, I didn't even get like all that shit with Gucci. I don't have, it's no credits, no nothing, because I was just working. I was getting paid, but I was just working. I wasn't thinking like I was gonna give a fuck one day. I'm thinking this shit finna make sure I don't have to eat a McDouble tonight. Like that was my mindset. Like right now, I wasn't future thinking till like 2000. I don't know, 3-4 years ago, right before I had my son. I wasn't thinking about the future for a long time. I didn't have a BMI for a long time. Was doing all kind of work. Never asked for points. I mixed hundreds of songs. Never asked for points. Didn't know it was legal to give me points already plus charging, and they wasn't gonna tell me that.
That's the
thing.
Know,
life lessons.
It's no one's business to teach you the business. You gotta outward seek it.
I like that, and it's not their responsibility either. Because if I'm not gonna get money from teaching you this, then it's like the game it's to be sold. The game been sold
over and over again. Did you find was your work ethic different when you were doing it to make sure you could eat that night versus now when you're kind of like more so taken care of? Or are you still going just
I'm still a machine. Like it scares me sometimes how much of a workaholic I still not only choose to be, but I'm comfortable with it. Like a lot of people, I probably but you know, I feel like if I didn't do this now, all that shit back then didn't even count. If I worked all that hard back then, if I stayed up all them days back then and got to this point and said, oh, now I'm gonna just sleep for a week. Now I'm not gonna make no beats for you. We're gonna send them what I already working with. I did all that for nothing, because that's what I did it for. I did it for the attention. I did it for you do that to build yourself up. You're gonna build yourself up and just stop running. You're gonna run all the way to the top and just stop running. That don't make no sense.
Definitely. But we watch it happen time and time again. Some of these guys finally get the big deal, the big pub deal, take the money, whatever. do nothing but hang out, have fun for 4 months, 6 months, a year, whatever, and then they end up wondering why they got cold.
But you know, it's only 2 roads to go. You're gonna go, you're gonna take this shit and go put it up and invest, or you're gonna take this shit and say, man, I'm finna buy everything I ever looked at that I want. Yeah. And both are fine. Both are fine. Can nobody tell you like this what you work for? That motherfucker write you $1 million check for your first beat and you go blow the whole $1 million plus taxes, all that. That's fine. But you just teach somebody else a lesson of what not to do later.
Right.
And you learning a terrible lesson. But a lot of people do that. Like some people like, I didn't have money, bro. I ain't have money. So the first time I first seen something, I was ready to blow it. Luckily, I was around some people that gave a fuck about me and stopped and like helped me get my saner, you know what I'm saying, my saner thoughts together. But in my head, I'm like, man, I'm like, come on now. I told YC, I said, man, I wanted a helicopter. I wanted a helicopter motherfucker first guy talking to me about some cash. I was like, how much a helicopter costs? But you gotta think, like, you're gonna need this. You're gonna need this later. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. So if you stop, though I said, you get to the top and stop running, especially with that cash, it's easy to forget where you at when you get that money. Like it's easy to forget that your song was number 6 on the charts for 20 weeks, but you got that money, that motherfucker is 79 and 86 dropping all the way down. You don't even know because you enjoying the check from when it was number 6.
Right.
You gotta work like it's still like you gotta work like that motherfucker ain't on the charts. Like that's why me and Moneybagg click so tight, because I don't have a problem working because I know that's what pushes the best shit out. Because if you bottle it up, this shit, it'll water itself down. When you push this shit out, like you go to some shit today, you go to the studio tonight, you finna talk right about this shit. Like a perfect example, the song For Real. We say he got pulled over. That shit happened. The man came to the studio white as a ghost. You hear me? White as a ghost. Walked in, them motherfuckers like, bro, U.S. Marshals just pulled us over, bro. They seen the money. They seen everything. I said, what? You got to tell everybody. You made it. I can see if we talk about some shit like went bad, you made it out. They didn't want nothing. You was able to prove your money. That was the coldest shit. Like everything he said, it was real facts. He just made it sound good for the song, but it was real facts. The man told folks Google me. They were like, "No, we want to know who you is on this in this database. We don't care who you is on the internet." But like them real life moments, if he would have came to the studio 3-4 days after that, he probably wouldn't even want to talk about it no more. He was like, man, I'm done with it. I don't feel like thinking about this shit no more. But it was fresh on him. He came right to the studio. Sometimes you need that. You need that, you know what I'm saying? You need that constant release of shit you go through.
Definitely. Yeah.
You never know what it comes to.
That can definitely be the point that kind of like sparks to the next thing. You spoke to, people get the money when they got the hot song and it's dropping on the charts and they don't even know whatever. Super important fact that, you're kind of alluding to speak on too, because a lot of times people don't really realize that like, a BMI or an ASCAP check is typically a 2-quarter delay, which means a song that comes out today, you're not seeing money for at least 6 months. And lately, due to COVID, they've actually been in instances operating on a 3-quarter delay, which means song drops today, 9 months. So whatever, boom, your song drops. People might get that first check from in the beginning when it's going super crazy, $20K, $30K if they got a big song. They think that's what's coming every 3 months, but you're not even realizing like this is the big one. Your song went from number 6 to number 99. Like it's a big difference with all of that. And just super important for you to kind of like hit that. The other thing is you really had so much going on before you and Bag even linked up in the first place, which I think a lot of people kind of overlook. You guys have countless classics now. Scorpio is going absolutely crazy. What Be Wrong from the Deluxe, one of the biggest ones on there. Yeah, it's going right up there for sure. But how did you guys first click up? Like, what was that very first interaction like, or how did it even happen?
So, after the time when I was telling you with Gucci, he had went to jail. I think that was June 2013, and like a month after that, I moved back to Memphis and found a studio, and I was back rotating heavy in Memphis with the studio. Around this time, it was like 5 or 6 different studios, but I was the mecca. Like, you come to Sky when you got your money ready and you got you got your song together. You come to Sky when you know you really want a real beat that you're ready to own, and it's not gonna have nobody else on it, and if you know tag all through your verse. Like, that's when you pull up on me. And so I got known for that. And at the time, Bag was in a group. It was like 8 people. It was it was in a group, 8 rappers. It was Youngster was in the group. It was Moneybagg, Big Homie G, Sean B. It was a couple different guys from Memphis. They all just one big group, just trying some shit. Like, let's try it. And they used to record at the studio like 2 miles down the street. And that building they was in had like 4 studios in it. So that was like we thugging, you come here. My studio, I got the clock running. When you get, as soon as you come in this door, tick, tick, you got an hour just started as soon as you look in my eyes. So it was real. It was a bit like, it was running like a business. It was still dealing with hood niggas, but I'm trying to teach y'all how the world works. So when you go to patchwork, you don't think, oh, I got 30 more minutes left. No, you got 17 more minutes left because you paid for 3 hours. Like, I'm helping y'all grow up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so Bag, he came to my studio because a lot of people used to always, this was like a fucking curse. If a nigga had a good song, somebody else wanted to get on it. So now this not even your song no more. So, and then God forbid 2 people want to be on it. Now you got 2 people on your hit record. So that shit went on for so long. It was just something, I guess he was so ready to be prepared when he worked. It would throw him off to have to deal with all these people everywhere. So if he playing the song, as soon as he come out of the booth, they cranking it up. Ooh, that's hard, let me get on it. So he started booking time, and Bags used to come like 6, 7 in the morning to record. Like, he wanted to make sure it was nobody doing nothing extra, like changing nothing up, nothing. I just want to come here and do the song I got wrote down and pull off. He was doing it every day. 1 song, 2 songs, whatever he got ready. He was coming up, just really putting in real work. Like, he made Federal in a week and a half, just coming every other day, coming every other morning, just dropping whatever he came up with. It was done. And what I was doing with his voice, like, he's still in love with it now. But back then he was in love with it. He was like, how do you catch that? How do you catch that shit right here? Like, that's what I hear when I'm listening to myself. I hear this part of my voice, and that's the strong part. How do you do that? I was like, I can catch it. I know where it's at, and I can, you know what I'm saying, boost it and have it just enough instead of using presets. You know what I'm saying? Might have worked on somebody else on, had them sounding crystal clear. It might not work on you. So I crafted how you supposed to sound on every song. And that's what turned into what y'all hearing now. Like, even like I distributed his first song. I Need a Plug. I put it out on my TuneCore account. So that's how long we've been like really locked in.
Next level. When does even like with him, you probably saw it in him pretty early, but when does it really start clicking and you're like, oh shit, we out of here?
I saw it in him the first time he ever did a song with me. I told him to his face, like, you got something special, you need to keep working. And if you can afford it, I need you to keep coming to me. And he's like, that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what we was on. Never fell off of it. Because I couldn't tell you what it was back then, but I just know it was a lot of bullshit coming out back then. I know that for sure. I know that he had like real meanings, real messages. Like, you know what this hook is talking about. Like, your hook is repeating. You're saying something in there that people can catch. A lot of it was people recording. They come do 56 bars and leave the studio. Every time they come to the studio, they're just rapping. Whatever they come up with, high as hell, leave the studio with it. That's the song I got. Whatever I'm finna call it. He had like titles and all. He had like a vision for himself, and that sparked something in me. Because like I said, I've been in Atlanta. I've seen Future walk in the studio, do a whole song in 6 minutes. 6 minutes. He walked in, did 2 verses on the hook, done. Just that focus, that structured in his head already. Like, that was I was saying this shit, and he was delivering. Then when he started putting the music out, like, back then everybody had to drop on like Spinrilla and shit, like live mixtape. My mixtape, you had to just like pay your cash, dip in there, and come up. But Spinrilla was like real hot at that time, so he was dropping on Spinrilla, paying his 150 and 200 to be on the front page, right where Young Scooter coming out right here, Moneybagg Yo CD right here. This is his first CD of. He's sitting right here where the big names is. So it was like he obviously stood up and stood out from the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
It's been crazy to watch. He's like, it's been going up. That whole Memphis sound really is just, it's gotten to a point now where it's really pop, but I'm sure it took years and years and a ton of different layers to get to that point.
Hell yeah. So much almost made it. You know what I'm saying? So many records almost made it. So many people almost made it. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it wasn't time. Sometimes it just don't be time. It probably just wasn't time, but it was a lot of building up and breaking down. It was like we had labels come from out of town and come set up in Memphis. Like, we're finna sign 4-5 niggas, get them deals, get them out here. Everybody they signed got locked up. You gave money too fast. They still trapping. You didn't change their life. You just upgraded. You didn't change it, so they didn't have to do what they was used to. You just made it easier to do what they was used to, and that was stopping them. That was, of course, they're gonna set so much shit back. But it took a long time. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like 2018, 19, that's the first time I really felt like we was there, like as a city, like, okay. Like, you could say you from Memphis and somebody gonna say something about music instead of First 48. Like, that's when I knew we was there.
What do you say to just kind of that process of like building up and building out with the artist? Because so many people want to get this loop placed with this producer to that to end up as like a kind of like a passive placement to a bag song and be a part of a bag project. But you kind of like built it in the beginning. A lot of people kind of want to skip that step. Like, what do you say to that real groundwork and just building the artist out?
Don't ever choose to skip the steps. I don't ever choose that. It's an option, but I wouldn't say choose that. It's so much. Do you know how much more you learn taking the slow route? You know how much more you get to see? How many people you get to watch rise? How many people you get to watch fall? You learn from everybody in the States plus yours, taking the slow route. If you skip steps and just slide one in, pay somebody and work your move, you're not even ready for the next step because you haven't been through any steps. You're not even ready for what's gonna happen to follow up. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the loops, like this shit get on my nerves, bro. Like, I respect anybody making music. Please don't ever misquote me. I respect everybody making music, however they choose to do it. But the aggressiveness on of that side of things, like, people are like, it's just like heavy. It's too heavy on the like, let me do something with you. Like, no. Like, this, it wasn't no fucking, y'all ain't never heard of Quincy Jones? Like, y'all ain't never heard of Dr. Dre? Like, them folks was locked in on their own shit. Dr. Dre didn't get in talking about, man, I put a hi-hat on the Too Short song and we in there now. Like, what the, that just sound crazy. That would have sounded crazy back then. They were putting in real work, like real hours. Like, you just gotta make more music. If you think that you should just make loops, you wrong. Because if you got it in you to make a loop, then drums is technique. A loop takes like real skill, like real taught skill. Like, you gotta know what you're doing. Because first of all, you gotta not get sued. So you gotta make some of your own every time. So why wouldn't you go figure out, like, oh, let me get some, all right, these the hidden drums. I'm gonna find a producer. Let me see. All right, I like his drums. I'm gonna start working his drum. Like, just like start crafting your own shit, because just trying to run with loops, that ain't gonna work. It's just like niggas just walk around trying to sell sweatpants. Like, you don't have a set for me. Like, you need the set. Some people just want the whole thing already put together. Like, you can't walk up the Moneybagg and be like, listen to the guitar, bro. That's not gonna do nothing. Where that slam at? Like, come on, where the juice?
No,
don't do it.
You said the aggressiveness too, like,
yeah, like in the DMs and shit.
I'm telling you, this interview will come out. People will DM me. I'm trying to get someone money back. You need to send my loops to OG. I'll be sitting there like, bro, what are you talking about? I need to. How about Carl? What's going on? I've been making some stuff that I think is really good for, a Memphis Moneybagg sound, whatever. You think maybe you can send it to, some people, there might be an outlet. If you did,
I'm
I'll
gonna find
take
one
care
for
of
you
you
right
or
now.
whatever. Like, it's
I'm
crazy.
find you one right now. I'm talking about right now. Less than
Let's
3
see.
messages down. Here we go. I got a loop pack ready for you. What's your contact info? You in my DM. My email on my bio. Like, you tripping. What's up, bro? How you feel? Can I send you some samples? This the first message you sending me. That's why you in the request. Like, it's ways to do everything. You could just say, hey. If you just say, hey, I might say, hey, back. Now we're having a conversation about nothing. Now you turn it into something if you want to do that. You just gonna
let's work. I'm trying to get someone.
jump down my throat. You go jump down my throat. I'm a very likable person. I know I'm an asshole to the world, and that's because you're supposed to be. Because fuck them. But I'm, especially when it comes to business and music, I'm locked in. I lock in different. Like, I get in executive mode real fast. I've been on multiple conference calls. I'm on the phone like this, giving real input, giving real guidance. Like, I do this. So I'm telling you, this is not an opinion that I came up with. This is, it's ways to do everything. It's ways to do everything. And especially when it comes to like relationships, you got to build a relationship. Like, build a relationship with a producer. Don't, you might not even, you talking to a stranger. I might run off with your loop. You don't even know. You don't know what I might do. And there's nothing you can do about it because you jumped in my DM on some loosey-goosey ass shit. And you ain't have to do that. You could have got to know me first so I can get to know you, see where you're coming from, see what you got to offer, and see what we can build together. But now you just looking like a fan.
Now you just got your PM right on the producer room.
Come on now.
No, it's just so interesting because what you're saying is like it's not an opinion. I always try to tell everybody that, like, bro, you gotta listen to Skywalker. Like, he is the platinum producer, engineer, mix master. Like, he's got the plaques. He's got the biggest song of 2021 hanging behind him. Like, you will rather. Some people will hear that and know it applies to them, and they'll get bent out of shape, and they'll tell their other friend who's also accomplished nothing, and he'll be like, nah, they wrong. And they'll be like, oh, yeah. But it's like, no, bro, like, Skywalker is what you want to be. Like, what he's saying is a fact. Like, he already did all this shit, but it's
I
just,
want to say nothing to not help nobody get where I'm at or better. Like, I don't, why would I say something to have you? I want to have anybody that want to listen, anybody that watch this, I want you to go do something so great off of what I'm telling you. I'm trying to change your mind. I'm trying to make you love yourself some more, respect yourself some more, like value yourself some more. I need you to wake up tomorrow and be like, these niggas ain't been charged. These niggas ain't been paying me enough. All right, then let's go. Like that'll turn you into another monster. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't have hate in my heart. I don't have any like anger, none of that. I want to see the future progress. Like I'm 31 years old. I'm doing this shit like as a super grown man. This producers out here 18, 17, 16. ZQ on the deluxe he made gave it 16 right now. Young D 16, like children really. Like I went through it, so y'all don't have to go through all this bullshit. If you just listen to me, you might be a millionaire next year.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Young D, Scott, boom, listen, Maybach, huge song. Future just performed it, Rolling Loud with Kanye on the stage with them. Like,
out of here. That's probably the number 2 song of the year. If Back in Blood number 1, that was probably number 2. That bitch, like this shit out of here.
Out of here.
Out of
here. And that's a really good, even I need to hear it a little bit. Like, and I'll just say that straight up. Like, that's a good underlying theme of just making sure you know your worth, understanding your worth. If you feel like you're getting jerked, you probably are damn near like.
And that's okay. It can stop today. I got jerked around for so long, bro, till I was like 25 years old, bro. I'm telling you this, eyes to the camera. I got jerked around. I worked for free. I worked for little to nothing. I slept in hotel rooms. I slept at people's houses that didn't want me there no more. All kind of shit to get here, like to get here. But I didn't know I was gonna get here when I was doing it. I was doing that to survive. But I'm saying y'all don't have to do it no more. Like you can wake up tomorrow and say, this is my new price. If it don't work, then fuck it. What is like you gonna not sell no beats if you change your price? You're not gonna record nobody, you're not gonna mix no song, nobody gonna respect you in the whole wide world. if you can tell yourself that, maybe you do need to stop. It might be time for you to do something else. But if you really destined and like this shit inside you, like it's inside me, you're gonna feel this. Like I don't speak, I don't like talking for no reason. That's why I want to do this with you. Because when we talked in person, I felt like somebody needed to record that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, people be needing to hear this. Niggas need to know, like, it's nothing different stopping you from charging more, being bigger, being more, anything. Like it's a lot of people are way more free than they realize.
That's definitely true. Definitely true. Way more free when they realize. Damn. But as far as Memphis as a whole just continuing to rise, kind of speak to a little bit, everybody's so enamored with Shiesty now, with getting some with Shiesty, but what was it really like in those kind of like early times when you really started to notice him and 30, like, damn, they really rising on some crazy shit.
Him and 30, it was like a TV show. I always say this shit, like when him and 30 came around, like a TV show. Cause it was like Bag had just like cleaned up his image. And then it was like, oh, we finna have Chopper Gang with us. I was like, oh, okay. So like we was reverting back to the old thugging we was doing. I was like, okay, so this who got it. So when I first met them, I just always like I didn't know that they was the only ones that rap, but they was the only ones that stood out out of all. It was about 20 of them around it at a time, but they always stood out. I didn't know they was the only ones that rap though. But then I start, I go home, do my research and all this. I'm like, okay, Shiesty got some views. They working the page, YouTube looking good, everything. And that shit just got to adding up fast. Like even with like how I got to work with him and add it up fast. I was just chilling. Like the only reason I can even say I make beats now was because I got a new laptop, got my shit loaded up with some sounds. I was in the A making beats and Shiesty 30, they pulled up. I'm just making some shit. They like, who that's for? I'm like, I'm just filling the folder up. I'm just getting started, like 4 beats in the folder. He like, put me about 5 of them up. Like, okay, bet. So I made about 6 beats, gave him 5 of them. One of them was the Shiesty season intro. I didn't even know I made that. I just gave him the beats and he left and went on by his business. He sent me the session to mix. And I was like, yeah, this is the intro. You ain't know you, man? I'm like, hell no, I ain't record you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just knowing you working. But I always, like, they always been special. Like, even like 30, like his humor, like 30's humor is like a real, like, comedian. Like, he's a real comedian. But it shows in his music as well. Like, it comes through. Like, how he talks shit, it comes through. I always liked it about them. Like, they always, and one thing about it, wherever they learn how to rap, you can tell they learn from somebody, you know what I'm saying, that already knew how to rap. You know what I'm saying? They didn't learn it from listening and learning song. Like they had real shit to talk about. And these is real, like I said, like they like babies to me. Like y'all rap about so much shit. Shiesty and talk about 20 different ways a nigga can die, all this shit. I'm like, oh, okay. And I believe y'all. It's not like you just saying this. It ain't like you just rapping and I'm like, oh, okay, go on, let me put it together. Like, I believe you. So it was, that's the new wave. It's a young nigga world.
That was definitely, yeah. And that's why they kind of took over the world too. Like, this is like, they really rap about some real shit. Like, that's just what I think made everybody want to gravitate towards him so much, whether it was so-and-so trying to get a feature, so-and-so trying to get beats to him, this show, that show.
And they slowed the flow of things down. Like, I don't know, like everybody, everything was going so fast. Shiesty and 30, they slowed this shit down. This is just Shiesty's stomach, yeah, buck you for your lung. He slowed the flows down, he slowed the tempos down, like he brought that real like grittiness back to it. He had you doing this instead of jumping around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real slide music.
Absolutely. But it's been crazy to kind of outline the whole, come up both for you, for Memphis, etc. It's been really, really insane just to watch. But I know, in closing, kind of what's next for you, what's next for Bag. I know you got the big announcement too that we gotta speak on, but kind of what's coming next. What's coming next?
I'm finalizing my deal. I'm gonna put out an R&B album at the top of next year. I'm gonna bring real music back to this shit. Like I'm a 90s baby. I'm gonna bring it real. Like when Drew Hill was running around, had bitches passing out and shit, I'm gonna bring them vibes back. So that's what's next personally for me. On the producer side, you know, me and Bag, it's forever up. He about to crank up his next album. Now, he don't never stop. 30 working on his next, like it's a lot on the producing side for sure. But I'm from that's like pre-prepared. I got that sitting up ready to craft. But yeah, the Gangsta's Pain album just went platinum. So like we're just basking in it right now. You know what I'm saying? Enjoying it because that's a good feeling because it took a lot out of us and it took a lot of time to come up with it. Like that's one thing for sure, especially when you get to like superstar levels of the artistry. Like the fans, y'all really gotta respect how long people take to get. Like he could have gave y'all this CD in 2 months for sure. He can make a CD in 2 months, get his cash from the label and go on to the next. But he still cares about it, and you can tell every time you push play on the song.
Every time. But yeah, big platinum. Everything's up. Shit. It's going crazy.
We got my recent announcement. So let me explain it first, because this is how it got explained to me. Hit Boy is nominated for a Grammy for Producer of the Year. The music that they submitted to consider him for Producer of the Year was Nas's album and the Judas and the Black Messiah soundtrack. It's a song called No Profanity on that soundtrack that Shiesty did and I produced. Due to the fact how Grammys work, that they submitted this music, because Hit Boy didn't produce this song, I am pulled into the nomination. So I'm basically nominated for Producer of the Year if we just gonna write it down somewhere.
Producer of the Year, Skywalker OG. So fucked around, Grammy nominated Producer of the Year.
Fucked around. And it was a real, like, you know, people, I don't know if you know this term, but like humbug, like it was a humbug situation. They had been asking Shiesty to get on this soundtrack. He never did the song, and they was constantly asking. So one day Amina called, like, can I just pull up and talk to him myself? And shout out to Amina, fuck with her. She pulled up. She was like, can you just tell me the real? He's like, the real is this beat don't sound like no Shiesty song. Like I can't think of no Shiesty song on this beat. I don't know. He's like, I usually can just, you know what I'm saying, come over, but this big for me, so I wanted to feel big. She was like, oh, well, should we find a producer for you? You got anybody you can recommend, and we can hit them and have them send a pack? He was like, well, my engineer, he produced too. So I said right there, cooked up the beat. He went in there and did the song right then, gave her the song before she left. And the rest is history. Free Shiesty.
Free Shiesty, legend. Skywalker OG in the building, legend. We appreciate it big time. Too many gems in this one. Too many, like, you're selling inspiration. You're selling.
That's what I want to do, because it's a lot of people that get where I'm at and father and don't use their voice. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to have to go through what I went through to get to where I'm at if I know it's not necessary. All you gotta do is believe in yourself. It's a little bit more. And you might think you do until you watch this and be like, oh, maybe I don't believe in myself. Maybe I need to stand up, poke my chest out a little more, ask for a little more, say a little more, input a little more. It'll change your life. Trust me.
Absolutely. But they'll just have to figure it out. But we appreciate, again, like I said, the producer room powered by producer culture, the big goat, Skywalker OG. Everyone, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, comment who you want to see next. You just might get it like OG. Appreciate it big time.
Yes, sir.